Hola, namaste, and good afternoon, folks. I'm your host, Sukriti, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to the exclusive launch of TechGig LinkedIn Community Builder Partnership. We all know that community partnerships have the potential to grow by leaps and bounds and can steer the organization in many different directions. And events are an integral part of a community's life and identity. Given the rapid growth in popularity of the community events, recognizing the value of cultivating the community partnerships has become much more familiar. And an event community partnership can be lucrative for both the businesses and the customers, as it creates a unique way to collaborate and improve event experiences by bringing together both the customers and various opportunities that actually comes into the picture. That being said, now I would welcome you all to this wonderful partnership that we have with LinkedIn. And I am proud that TechGig is collaborating with LinkedIn to promote and build their better community partnerships with our audience. And we aim to engage our community audience through live sessions and activities and much more. Now, our event is full of revelations, perspectives, and interactions today. And since we have been talking about engagement, how can we not give you, our audience, a chance to interact with our eminent speakers? We will open the forum for live Q&A in the end, so please feel free to write to us through the chat window. Before I move forward and introduce you to our eminent speakers and bring in the showcase that we have in today's event, I would like to invite Sanjay Goyal, Business Head, TechGig, to talk about the brand and its ventures. Sanjay, over to you.
Thanks, Sukriti. This is a really important partnership for us, and at TechGig we take a lot of pride in joining hands with LinkedIn. So TechGig, as you all know, is part of the Times Internet, which is the India's largest digital company, and Times Internet is part of the India's largest or the largest media house in this part of the world, Times of India Group. So in terms of the traffic, Times Internet commands among all properties traffic comparable to that of Facebook, and the kind of impressions and the traffic that we command across all our properties is probably now getting bigger than that of Facebook and Google in India. So TechGig is the arm of Times Internet, which basically is about the communities and where the professionals come to the platform to learn, compete, and grow. We have multiple properties in the marketing solutions for events, hacks, and webinars. Jagat, would you like to elaborate some of these?
Yeah, so we have business solutions, marketing solutions, and hiring solutions. For hiring solutions, we have solutions which can give you a SaaS-based platform and to do your own hiring. If you want us to not just source for you, but also provide you the platform, we have solutions for that. For marketing solutions, we have events. We also do a lot of webinars, and the traffic on the site is huge. So that can be leveraged to reach out to the 4.6 million strong community that we have. Since we also have this 4.6 million strong community, if you have a business problem that you would want to throw to this community, then you can do that, and you can crowdsource your solutions from there. Yeah, Sanjay.
Right. So we are now diversifying into the specialized hiring solutions, where the data that we accumulate through various events that we do or various assessment solutions that we sell throughout the year in the form of contest or in the form of hackathons, which are basically engaging the technology professionals and the techno-functional people. We are able to then generate their AI generated profiles which assist the employers to understand their profile depth. They are able to understand their capabilities better than a paper resume does. So while we started TechGig as the vertical for engaging and creating a community of tech professionals, it has now diversified more into the events part and the specialized hiring area. So these are some of the clients that we have been working with in the domestic and the international arena. So TechGig commands, fair spread of clients in India and outside. All right, over to you, Varun.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thanks, Jagat, and thanks, Sukriti, for setting this up. So, welcome all for this launch event. I'm extremely proud and happy to present to all of you and launch the partnership between LinkedIn and TechGig. Let's just get to know a little bit about LinkedIn, and then onwards we'll share more about what the partnership is also about. So let's first get into the next slide, Jagat. But I wanna start with the vision of LinkedIn. So we define our LinkedIn as vision as our true north. It is our dream as a company. It's what drives us every day at LinkedIn, and this is what it is. It's about creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Okay, and then this leads to something which is our mission, which is which Jagat, you can go to the next slide, which is our overarching objective. It's something which is realizable, measurable, and very inspirational to all of us. It's about connecting the world's professionals to making them more productive and successful. So anchoring ourselves in this vision and mission is what we do almost on a daily basis. Next slide. And then as you look at these mission vision for LinkedIn, the key things I would want you to take away is connecting to opportunity. This is what LinkedIn allows you to do. Okay. Connecting to opportunity is the key thing that you remember. And let me explain to you how we help you connect with the opportunity, right? And like next slide. LinkedIn has some really powerful data, tools, and insights that can help you connect with the opportunity. This starts with our professional community. And the professional community, right now we have 900+ million members on LinkedIn globally. In India, it's crossed 100 million almost 3 weeks back. So we are like extremely proud about that professional community. And these are across, obviously, 900 million across 200 countries that we're present in. We have over 61 million companies on LinkedIn which have a page, right? Which have a presence, digital presence on LinkedIn. More than 140 million jobs, and so on and so forth. You can see the numbers. I think the last number is a little bit important and very resonating with me, at least, is almost 450 billion feed updates are viewed in a year. So that's the amount of like traffic which is or the content and traffic which is viewed in a year on LinkedIn. So long story short, we are extremely proud of being the professional network of choice for professionals globally, and we are very excited about this partnership today with TechGig, and we'll love to share more as we go along in the event. And welcome everybody.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Varun. I think that has set up the right context of what we mean when we say building community partnership about TechGig and LinkedIn. I would also, want to have a quick chat with the two of you about how this entire partnership is going to fare out, and of course, deeping dive the entire detail of the collaboration. So, Sanjay, starting with you, so tell us about the whole idea of this partnership with LinkedIn and what can we expect from this.
So this partnership is really important to us, and I think it's a very unique partnership in the event space in India. TechGig, as you know, belongs to a media house. So we are part of Times Internet. Times Internet is part of Times Media Group. And so, events is a way that a media company would use and leverage to bring the industry and the people together. And LinkedIn pretty much beautifully extends this to the network and the groups of these people, and which in my mind is the missing link that we were not having. And so having LinkedIn on board, it will help us massively scale from here to reach out the industry and to reach out people and to, of course, create value for our users. Now this is one thing. So the fact that pandemic started, we all shifted to virtual events, and virtual events kind of removed the boundaries that were And so we have seen the participation of international participants go up, but now things are gradually shifting to a hybrid culture where part is offline, part is online. And so it basically gives you both the advantages that one, you have extended boundaries, and two, that you are able to connect or network with people offline also. So with LinkedIn helping us give the international exposure to the audience for the events of their interest that are happening in India, is a very, very important piece for us.
Right. So that was about TechGig and what we're looking forward to. Varun, I'll like to have your thoughts sitting here. That what do you think about this collaboration with us, and how do you plan to take this new venture to new heights?
Absolutely. So let me build on what Sanjay said, and thank you, Sanjay, for your kind words. I appreciate that. I'll build on from where I left last, as saying like, hey, what's the LinkedIn's value prop? Why are we here, right? And I think I spoke the word connect to opportunity, and I believe this partnership enables that. Let me explain how. The first part is, think about Indian professionals in India, right? Like if you generally look at their needs, their two big needs are to seek input from each other, right? And to build their personal brand. And they do this via networking. They basically do via like talking to each other, connecting either in real life, in events, as Sanjay said, or on professional events, professional platforms like LinkedIn. So there is both an offline and an online component in this networking, which serves this professional's needs, right? Now, what are we trying to do here? This partnership is all about connecting this face-to-face event to the online space. We're basically trying to build a bridge between these two worlds, as I may say. So how it works? How does it work? So it works very simply as saying like, hey, when you are going through the journey, when an attendee is going through the journey of buying a ticket or registering on TechGig, the attendee can have an option to see on LinkedIn who else is attending the event and connect to them in advance of the event. So it's simply just connecting the two platforms to provide the best value to the attendee. And how does this help in terms of impact is in three areas. First, event attendees, they can do networking in advance, which is what I said, connecting to opportunity, meeting people in advance. This leads to better professional outcomes for these attendees. So they already are very well tuned and knowing how and who to reach out in the event, in the actual event, and they already know like, and they've got this meeting set up, right? So that's for event attendees. Second, for event organizers, they benefit by getting higher attendee reach via discovery of their event, via the network effect on LinkedIn, right? And potentially higher show up rates because people know who else is coming and they can decide and then they can attend the event. So potentially higher show up rates. These are the two concrete benefits for event organizers. And of course, for platforms like TechGig and LinkedIn, how we benefit is we are able to serve the professionals as per our value props, as per the value prop that Sanjay said and as per what I said. So yeah, these are the benefits, and this is what I think about this partnership.
Wonderful, and I think it's very much synced with the vision. As you mentioned, what we as developer community TechGig, we look at, and of course what LinkedIn serves. Varun, Sanjay, coming back to you, how do you think our partners as well as the developer community entirely, as I mentioned, will benefit from this collaboration?
See, while TechGig reaches out to roughly 70% of all tech professionals in India, so we have a massive registered user base. Reaching their peer network boosts the participation, and also it's the information exposure to their networks and groups. I think which is a very, very important aspect of any event for that matter, right? Witnessing the consistent trend of participants going to their LinkedIn page, taking pride in showcasing their achievements. When the events are executed on TechGig, they are very keen to showcase it to their superiors in their network that how they are performing, etc. So this is a very, very important aspect for any employer branding and for organizers on our platform, that they would want to communicate, to reach out, connect, and like Varun said, that it's about creating opportunities And so that's why, reaching out to connected networks is more important. And we are becoming a genesis of, where a lot of interesting hackathons, events, contests are happening. While we are able to bring on early adopters, but there are a whole lot of people who would want to really understand what is happening in the industry, how the industry is benefiting, what sort of ideas are being crowdsourced by the industry leaders, what sort of companies are now coming to participate in these contests or do the theme hackathons that we conduct. And so it becomes very important that this information is taken to the vast network. And so in that sense, I think partnership with LinkedIn is a very important aspect of the entire thing.
Absolutely, Sanjay. I think there are so many new things that everybody will look forward to once, today that we've launched this partnership. Varun, going back to you, what new, can we expect from this community building partnership? What's something that's still kept inside, and now that we are launching this, you would want to reveal it here?
Well, I think the new thing is that this is launching for the first time in India. Honestly, I'm very, very happy about that. We've done this in large event markets, for instance, like in Germany, in Brazil, but in APAC and in this part of the world, this is the first one. So I think honestly, like I'm very proud and happy that we've gone ahead with TechGig, which is like Sanjay said, has an amazing community of professionals. And I think honestly, the other big thing about this is this is happening for the first time, honestly, like that various very different platforms and stakeholders are coming together to provide value to the event organizer and the event attendee. See, you have to understand, everybody has their unique role that they play. LinkedIn is providing networking opportunities. It's helping you build communities. TechGig is a platform which has these people who come on a regular basis and they know that there are hackathons, there are competitions which are already happening. Then there are these companies who really are trying to make ends meet by connecting all these dots, right? So we have to make it easy for these stakeholders to come together. And I think technology, at the end of the day, is an enabler, and I'm happy that we are doing that through technology.
Thank you, Varun. I think this is one factor that has been aiding so many functionalities to ease out things that we do in today's time. And thank you for the quick chat, Sanjay and Varun. I'm sure now our audience also have a hands-on to what how exciting this is going to be and what's all is coming for them. Thank you so much, Varun and Sanjay. It's time for us to look at the interesting product side of TechGig, for which I would like to invite Jagat, who's the product head at TechGig. Jagat, you may please take over.
Sure. Thank you, Sukriti. So as Sanjay said, in TechGig, we do a lot of events. So we have annual events, which we do once in a year. We have Code Gladiators, we have Geek Goddess, we have Virtual Campus League. So I'll cover them in brief over the next few slides. But throughout the year, we also have running events, events that we do throughout the year. We do about 200 webinars in a year. We do about 200 to 300 recruitment contests in a year. We do about 100 plus solution building hackathons in a year. We do about 40 plus boardrooms in a year. These are industry connect boardrooms in which we get people from the industry to come and discuss a topic. So about 40 of those are done in a year. Of all the events that we do, Code Gladiators is the most popular. So we have been doing it for 10 years now. This is one of our flagship events. It's an event in which we invite coders and other developers to come and solve complex problems. It is in the Guinness Book of Records for being the largest online programming contest in the world. We have broken the Limca Book of Records twice. This year it is going to be launched next week. Last year we saw about 3.2 lakh users who came and participated in this event. So this is something that we have done for 10 years now. Over the years, what we have done is we have not just engaged people in complex algorithms and data science problems, algorithms and data structure problems, but we have also given them problems to solve in cutting edge technologies like AR, VR, machine learning, AI, etc. And these are problems which have come from the industry to which they were seeking solutions. So this was a good avenue for corporates to crowdsource solutions from a tech community. We also do Geek Goddess. So Geek Goddess is our diversity initiative. We have been doing it for 7 years now. Last year we got about 73,000 women developers in the country to come and participate in this event. This year we are looking to do it in September. So what happens when somebody participates in all these contests and they seek learning opportunities in the webinars that we do? What happens with that data? So what we have done is we have taken all that data and used AI ML to generate a machine generated CV for the user. So the machine generated CV tells the user, tells you for a particular cluster what skills you are good at, what skills you are not good at. It goes one step further, and for each skill it will also tell you what topics you are good at and what topics you are not good at. We have taken that one step further and we have benchmarked your performance with everyone else from the industry. So you know that for a particular skill and a particular topic, where do you stand in the industry? What we can also tell you is if you were to compare yourself with employees from any company. So as an example, if you would want to compare yourself with employees of Microsoft, where would you stand theoretically? If you would want to compare yourself with Java developers in TL, where do you stand? We can tell you exactly where you stand from a percentile perspective. So the machine generated CV is something that TechGig has pioneered. Compared to what is out there in the market, it's an innovation that is going to change the way technology hiring is done currently anywhere in the world. There are a lot of frameworks that we support. So all leading frameworks are supported on the assessment platform, which is there. It is one of the most technologically advanced assessment platform which is out there in the market. Now, since we do all these events, what is the reason that we were looking to partner with LinkedIn? So as Varun covered very briefly, what LinkedIn does is it converts your attendees into active communities. So so we have speakers, we have attendees and exhibitors, and each of them has a different incentive to attend an event. So you could be looking to expand your network, you could be looking to connect with others, you could be looking to maximize your engagement. LinkedIn Community Builder allows you and provides you avenues for doing all of that. In the context of TechGig, we do about 600 plus events in a year. And over the years, we have largely banked on the 4.6 million strong professional tech community that we have. Now imagine that we convert each of these participants into a small network of their own, and we tap into every individual's professional network. So the network effect there is phenomenal, and that is exactly what we are looking to tap into through this engagement. And the community builder integration provides you with the avenue to tap into the network effect of LinkedIn. It's like an extended network that you can tap into this, which is outside of the community that you already have. So it's a win-win situation for both LinkedIn and TechGig. To take this integration, we have started it off with boardrooms and webinars. So there are 2 POCs that we are doing for webinars. This event itself leverages the TechGig LinkedIn integration. We look forward to take it to all the 600 odd events that we do in a year. I'll briefly give a quick demo of how the integration is working for TechGig, and yeah. So what you have is the LinkedIn events page that that you create. So this is a webinar that we are doing, and this is the events page for the webinar. Uh, you would have a corresponding event page on techgig.com in which you can come and book your seat. So here you can click on attend. So when you publish this, it goes to the community members of TechGig. It goes as a notification. They'll be notified that there's this event which is happening. When you attend, again, your personal network gets notified. Now the beauty of this integration is we also have a corresponding TechGig page, and when you click on book your seat on this page, it will book your seat, and at the same time it will ask you to join the event on LinkedIn. So once you have joined the event on LinkedIn, what happens is uh, on the corresponding LinkedIn page, uh, your attendance is confirmed. People in your network get to know about this event, and also you can check who else is attending the event, and you can engage with them. So I think it's a beautiful method in which you are converting your own community members into smaller networks that you can tap into. From a demo perspective, it's a seamless integration. It's a very easy integration, and to all the product managers out there, marketers out there, growth hackers out there, I think this is a very important tool that you would want to have in your arsenal if you'd want to reach out to a broader audience, and you're looking for methods to reach out to a larger audience. So I look forward to using this integration and leveraging it in more of our events. Yeah. Thank you, Sukriti. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Jagat, for that awesome presentation and guiding us through what TechGig and this entire partnership would look like. Up next, since we have been talking about events and engaging the audience via different channels, we have a conversation, with industry leaders who will be giving an overview of how technology is aiding the events industry to bring out the best engagement opportunities for various stakeholders that contribute to the growth of the companies. Our panel is an amalgamation of leaders that bring together insights from various industries and also act as important influencers. I'm glad to introduce you to our speakers for today's panel discussion. Please welcome Arun Kuller, Director of Business Development, LinkedIn; Sanjay Goyal, Business Head, TechGig; Nikhil Sharma, Head of Growth and Partnerships, Times Internet; Neha Patil, Venture Capitalist, LinkedIn Creator; and Mandar, who is the India R&D Site Operations Lead from HPE.
Everyone.
So welcome to our conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, I will quickly jump to the questions because I'm sure our audience is waiting to understand various aspects and your insights that you'd be actually contributing to this conversation. Arun, I'd like to begin with you. Tell us, how has this entire technology changed the paradigm of the events industry?
Sure. So I think events technology has really needed to evolve as we've seen COVID take us from like face-to-face events to virtual and to now to hybrid, right? And this has kind of completely changed the landscape in which events used to perform. Like now there is like a whole host of like technology which is needed and all for events to be successful. And there are three key trends that I want to call out. The first is the rise of online events, as we all know, and live streaming, right? The benefit there is, I think it's just opened up the audiences to everybody in the world. Like anybody in the world can pretty much just sit in front of their computer and join an event, which was not heard of like 3-4 years back. So I think breaking geographical barriers is the first big thing, and technology is helping on that. The second is community building tools have proliferated. What I mean by that is that people now have the need to connect with each other more because there has been this lack or void, for lack of a better word, like in their lives from professionally, like not being able to connect. So you've seen a whole proliferation of tools, for instance, Discord, Quora, even messaging tools like WhatsApp, Telegram have now jumped into the community space, and of course, like LinkedIn continues to be the professional network of choice. But I think the second big thing is proliferation of community tools. I think the third thing which I wanted to call out in terms of technology and how things are changing is around lead management and how events are critically more important from an ROI point of view. What I mean by that is, the current macroeconomic situation is not that great, right? Everything that we do costs money. At the end of the day, hey, it's not easy. It's time and money. So how can we make every dollar that we spend more, ROI positive for us? Like really, like giving the bang for the buck. And I think the technology is helping in terms of being able to provide the right amount of integrations from a CRM point of view, to be able to take leads from the events and to be able to follow up and get the business outcomes that you want. So yeah, I think these are three trends that I want to talk about. So I want to share that. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you, Varun. Sanjay, I'll move to you from of course, the entire concept of community partnership that we've been talking about. In line from the business perspective, how do you think this event technology is actually helping in the growth of the businesses?
Today, all businesses are technology business, whether it's a bank or it's a construction company. All businesses have now focused on technology because either they need to digitize or they need to launch apps, websites, maintaining of large data warehouses of information of their buyers, purchasers, trend of how their users are, their customers are basically engaging with their business. So in that sense, events play a very critical role in terms of crowdsourcing of ideas of how the stale business processes which are either non-performing or are not delivering on the the aspects for which these were designed, how these are performing, and so how do you want to innovate them? That is a key important fact. That's why a lot of businesses come to do theme hackathons to crowdsource ideas on how do you re-innovate these things. Other than that, hiring or to attract talent in a market which is very, very competitive for the technology professionals, I would say the talent's first choice would always be a tech company or a company which is global. Now versus a logistics company or a FMCG company, if they have to hire techno-functional people who are not just tech savvy but also understand the business functions, and they are able to think solutions first, not just the technology. To target this kind of talent, you need to conduct hackathons so as to understand, get face to face, and also to communicate a more tech savvy employer brand. These are some of the factors why you would want to do hackathons, conduct events, go in this market and engage with the tech talent. Some of the events that we do, like Code Gladiators, the split that you get from colleges versus the laterals who participate in these events is a evenly split thing. You might have almost as good as 50% from colleges and 50% laterals. Now there to conduct or to connect with them is very important. And some of the events I have seen where we have teams, you would be surprised that you would have 2 people college team, or you would have a startup participating in it, where the startup would be a mix of 2 very young graduates, 2 very senior people who are conducting the business side or managing the business aspect. So the mix is crazy, and that's the reason why most of the corporates today are innovating solutions or innovating ideas through these hackathons.
Wonderful. But then, Sanjay, both of you have touched base upon the 2 aspects that we look at when it comes to technology aiding the entire events platform and the entire engagement that we are talking about. Nikhil, I would like to move to you. What are the benefits of event technology and effective communication that we are actually talking about? And that is, I think, the primary requirement to build any sort of engagement that we look at, right?
See, I've been an entrepreneur before, and so it's been 6 years that I'm working with multiple businesses under Times Internet. I think technology plays a very important role in terms of in these events. I remember when there was a time in Paytm when we created a voice celebrity chat platform, and it was so hard for us to even create that, bring a celebrity and make people talk to that celebrity. And today we are disseminating information live. These events are live, and people can just look at them and speak with them real time, and probably like thousands and thousands of users, concurrent users. So I think technology plays a very actually it's drastically changed the way we look at events today. And I mean, if I talk about a hackathon that happens at TechGig, right? If I have like 4 features that I want to launch in my app, and probably there are just 2 Python developers that I have, I can just do a live poll right there in that hackathon and ask the people who are joining there, which I should choose. So that actually saves a lot of time, a lot of energy for me. I think that's happening just because of the technology that we have today. In terms of how we use these technologies today at our businesses. I mean, if I talk about VR, one of our business, Magic Bricks, has done an event wherein we have it was a real estate event, and they used Oculus probably, I guess, and they were showcasing how you can just access that information real time, how a property looks like, how a flat looks like. So I think that saves a lot of energy, a lot of cost in terms of, and it brings a lot of efficiency. And I think these are just stacks wherein we would be building the next innovation in terms of events. That's my take over that.
Thanks, Nikhil. Thank you so much. Varun, I'll move to you now, since Nikhil has given us a pretext of how this entire, brand valuation also works along with, such events when you look at. Tell us that how well are these, actually serving the purpose of effective communication from the brand engagement perspective?
Yeah, so I think the brand communication has changed. The brands are now not just visible in like the real life, they're also available in the social media. They're also being physically being used by people when products are being consumed, the packaging. Every little touch point is a brand experience, right? Now the way at least tech can help, and what can we all do, right, as people who are working in the tech space. I think the key part there is no one person can, or no one company can solve this. I think the way I look at it is this has to have a collaborative approach with partnerships, and that's why this is so critical. This conversation is so critical. That's why this panel is so interesting as well. There are different types of people who are representing different stakeholders, and that is super important for this to work. And so, yeah, I mean, I just feel that, and I would love to hear what Mandar and Neha have to say, but I think it's a collaborative effort with all the stakeholders involved.
Absolutely, Varun. I was actually about to, move to Neha and ask her experience, of course, throughout this engagement, because she's one of the LinkedIn creators that we may call her. Neha, how do you think this entire, engagements through events are actually helping the industry target the right audience, which I think is one of your primary objectives when you sort of build any engagement or strategy that you think of?
So, thanks, Kriti, and that's a very good question, right? But before I actually deep dive into, how engagements are being fostered through the online events, what I would love to speak about is how this industry has evolved, right? Today, if you see, event tech is almost like a $115 billion industry, right? And if you see, before there used to be in-person events, then there was virtual events, and now I feel creators are fostering this whole hybrid event movement, right? And that's where I think the engagement is coming in, because the ability of hybrid events is that it is allowing brands, companies, large or small conglomerates, to actually tap into influencer networks, right, while launching an event. And that's where I think the real engagement kind of comes in. And I think another key metric that I've seen that has evolved a lot is that you can network prior to the event and post the event, right? That's what is enabling a lot of engagement within, I think, these smaller and larger communities. I think along with that, if you see a lot of tools, which I think Varun also mentioned about, is actually helping foster a lot of engagement within these communities.
Thank you, Neha. Mandar, I'll move to you now. Now we have a lot of perspectives added. You've been associated with TechGig for so long, and we've worked for our annual events. One of them being Code Gladiators. How has this association benefited you? Mandar, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, see, there are multiple ways that I look at this association. One is about the employer branding, another is about the engagement of employees inside the organization itself, and then about hiring. So, let me give you some insights that I have, right? So, one is like, for example, if you look at the impressions that we got in terms of developers, right, which runs into millions, or maybe even the brand impressions itself, right, which again are running into millions. Sometimes it's about social media promotions besides the websites or the branding of the websites that we could see. And in addition to that, it was also about, say, our leaders getting involved with the award functions, and also, some of the finale panel discussions that we have, right? In addition to all that, if you start really looking at, how does it help us as an organization? So our employees also participated, and as a result, I think we also got recognized as a coding powerhouse, maybe the first runners up there, which also talks about the quality of participation, because apart from the number of people who are participating. And the final thing which I want to leave out is the people who are participating, whether it is, say, Code Gladiators or the machine learning hackathon that we were talking about. We had like some thousands of companies and maybe developers from 176 countries. I think that's what I got to know, and which is like, you get access to whole of the world, right? And that's a talent pool which actually helps us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandar. With this, Sanjay, I would like to move to you as Mandar has joined us and adding the perspective from the industry here. You've also been associated with various brands, and you've actually been in touch with them in terms of their requirements when it comes to leveraging us as a platform. So how do you think these companies are actually leveraging the analytics and data that is driven out of these events eventually?
See, we need to first understand the data that a lot of things have changed significantly or dramatically. How it works in Indian colleges now. Today, a student, when he walks out of an engineering college, even before he has stepped out of the college, I think he would have himself dabbled with at least 5 or 6 different experiments, startup experiments. And that's very different from 20 years ago or 15 years ago how it happened. Now, when you in these events, it is very surprising that a bunch of people who really participate, 2-people team or 1-person team or 3-people team, and the amount of detail they put into the prototypes that they create, even at the level of solution, or at the level of libraries or APIs they use, or at the level of the costing where they will source their IC chips or stuff, that is humongous. Now, for a corporate which would like to engage with people, they understand that the talent that they come across in these events are those who are competition savvy, who are contest savvy, who have been working on solutions long before they walk into these competitions. They meet youngsters, they meet professionals who are part of a startup. So a lot of startups participate in these events. I mean, meet 1-person startup, meet 2-people startup. 1-person startup is very surprising. Actually, how do you expect 1 person to do everything, right from creating a prototype to solution to ideation to presentation to pricing, costing, everything? 1 person would have worked on almost every possible detail, right from algorithm of the software to the last bit of detail. That gives you information about these people, that what people you are engaging with. Now, for a corporate which would like to participate in any of these events, their main task, like Mandar is also emphasizing on, is to not only come face to face with them for the sake of employer branding, that we value you and we value your time and we value what you are creating, right? I have seen corporates which are working on SDKs, and they participate in hackathons because they would want to see that how these people would want to use their SDKs and tell them that what is missing in their SDK. That's very interesting that you see. So there could be multiple reasons why a corporate would want to participate in a hackathon or conduct a theme hackathon or be a part of it. But I think the changes that are happening at the talent level in India is really interesting.
Absolutely, Sanjay. And I think, as we spoke of going globally and looking at talent and fulfilling the requirements that an organization looks at in terms of employer branding and engagement and everything, I think those are the elements that we are trying to put together and again build something exclusive and new. What do you think, Varun? That's what exactly we've come together for, and we've been, putting our forces together to create something exclusive for all our audiences and customers and everyone we are related to. Would you like to add something here, Varun?
Yeah, I mean, I have always things to add. This is an this is an extremely insightful conversation, and we don't usually get this esteemed panel to talk to on an everyday basis. So I had actually one point, and then I had a question actually for Neha. But the point that I wanted to make is that this is a start. Actually, honestly, the biggest challenge is not the technology after the good things we do, but the implementation, really like making sure that this is working and then taking the feedback and so on and so forth, right? So I think this is like just literally we've just taken first step and we have to take 100 more steps. So that's the point I wanted to make. It will take all of us to actually start educating the population and the stakeholders to say, hey guys, like, how does this really help you? You're an attendee, how will it help you? Wow, great technology, but is it simple enough? And so on and so forth. So I think like the detail of implementation is something that we'll have to see, and we'll have to rely on all the stakeholders here to really make benefit from it. And the question I had actually for Neha was, when you look at creators and you look at like the new age startups and SMBs and so on and so forth, like you've dabbled as a VC in a number of these things, like do you see like events and networking, etc., as a key source of business growth? And if so, like how can some of the concepts we've spoken today help on that?
Absolutely. I feel it's at the epicenter, right? I mean, today, if you ask me, there are three key components to what you just mentioned. One is the ability to, access know-how or knowledge, right, in a borderless manner. I mean, today, sitting here, I can attend a startup demo at the Cambridge University, right, and really understand how the developed economy is looking at startups versus people there actually looking at India as an emerging economy and understanding how startups are happening over here by attending pitch days here, demo days over here, knowledge sessions over here. And I think that's fantastic, right? The whole virtual event industry allows to be borderless from day one. I think second is multiple use cases, right? Doesn't matter what startup you are, what industry you are, right? Everyone is able to kind of harness this technology for multiple use cases, right? So small brands are utilizing event tech to launch new products, right? Some brands are utilizing it for internal training. Some brands are utilizing it for sales and marketing purposes, right? So the use cases are multiple, and that's the beauty of this. And I think the third most important part is creators are actually at the forefront of transforming this entire space, right? Because as I said, micro networks created by these creators are the best way for startups to kind of harness, speak a lot more about what they're doing, what they're building, enable these influencers to actually become the impact leaders of that particular space. So for example, if you see a lot of startup events that are happening today, right, most of them are free, that allow actually a lot of young aspirants to kind of join in from anywhere, any part of the world. Even in India, if you see tier 2, tier 3 startups today, are rising up really well because they are able to participate in virtual demo days, in virtual events, and contribute to the whole ecosystem. So I feel for startups, this is a big movement, and there's a lot more that will be done going forward, right? And I think not just startups, but if you see large brands, right, today, the likes of LVMH, Dior, they conduct their luxury fashion events in Milan and Paris, but creators based out of India are actually leading those fashion shows, sitting right here in cities like Bombay and Delhi, right? And they are able to kind of, if you see, I don't know, but I think LVMH managed to kind of have one of their highest sales or impressions on one of their campaigns only and only because they utilized one Indian creator to launch that particular collection. And that's happened not just in the fashion industry, but as I mentioned, across multiple industries. So I feel startups are great enablers in this whole process. Founders, people who are looking to kind of even get jobs or work with high quality startups, for them talent shows, participating in events which allow them to kind of connect with multiple investors, multiple startups. I think it's a fantastic platform, no doubt about it.
Thank you, Neha, for that. I think Varun's question was so, prominent that we were actually, in continuation to what Varun spoke, I always wanted to ask you, being the LinkedIn creator here, if you could just share some references of, how things are actually being taken care of when we talk about the hybrid mode. But you've already shared that. Thank you so much. I will now move to Nikhil. Nikhil, we've spoken about ways that we are looking at. You look after the partnerships and the growth at TIL. Can you help us understand the ways that technology is actually aiding these impactful audience engagements?
I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Actually, I had to travel to Mumbai suddenly yesterday, and I was thrown out of the room. But see, that's how technology is helping. I'm still taking this event on my phone, and my phone was not entirely charged. So I mean, these earbuds are helping. So I think technology and audience engagement is, as Varun and Neha rightly mentioned, it's actually borderless. I'm here right now in Mumbai. I'm just trying to attend the event, and I think probably like thousands of people who have joined this event are listening to us. So that's one very impactful and profound thing, that how technology is helping in terms of audience engagement. And one more thing, probably I just want to add. You mentioned about hiring people, Varun and Neha both. So probably, I mean, one good example probably I would like to give. I'm hiring in my team. If anyone who's joined the event and who wants to join into content creation, I would love to connect. So I think you have got the real-time example of how audience engagement, is getting profoundly impacted with these, online events. This wouldn't have been possible in a physical event if I was doing it. It wouldn't have been possible if I couldn't have even joined the event, right? You might be hearing some noises coming from behind. I'm in a Starbucks lobby, and speaking with probably thousands of people. So I think that's how and this is just one example of it. Imagine that Mandar is giving a presentation, and there are plenty of CIOs from other companies. And if I am, let's say, a conference hardware manufacturer, I would love to connect with all the people who joined his event, right? And I just go to LinkedIn and connect with every one of them. If, let's say, we have a small plugin which could do that, I think that would solve a huge amount of deal for me. It will be highly efficient for me to just connect to the right people and sell my hardware. So audience engagement is actually being profoundly impacted by these, by the technology. And digital events are actually, I gave you the real life example how I am attending this event. So, yeah.
Thanks, Nikhil. I think outreach is something that we actually look at when we talk about virtual events, and that's exactly what has been helping when it comes to not minding the borders, and we can go overseas and look at connecting with people. Mandar, I'll now move to you. How do you think you can utilize such audience engagement opportunities for your company?
Before that, I have a question from Neha, if I can ask.
Yes, please.
So, Neha, you mentioned about the Louis Vuitton events and all these, the events that are happening probably in Milan or somewhere. How do you think the technology, helping these events to either they'll come entirely online, or would they still be hybrid? How do you think the progression to happen?
I think, this answer will be again in two parts, right? One, it really depends on the industry, right? So the beauty is, for things like fashion today, e-com is, enabling online purchases seamlessly, right? But for some industries, I feel hybrid events will continue to be of prominence, right? Where in-person presence is required. So again, it depends on industry. It depends on what the core, ideology is behind conducting that particular event. So I feel, that hybrid part of it will continue to grow. And at the same time, I just feel, with AR, VR, AI, I feel that, the diminishing borders between physical events and sorry, I meant to say in-person events and online events or virtual events. I think the borders will just diminish, and it will be as seamless as, doesn't matter if you're attending in person or online. You're still able to kind of get the same benefits out of that event.
All right, thank you, Neha. Mandar, I was, asking you about the utilization of such audience engagement opportunities for your company. How do you look at, this entire launch, and how do you think this can be leveraged well?
Yeah, so multiple ways, I think, as some of the speakers earlier said, right? So one is you can throw open a problem and then see what the response is. That can be one. The other thing which we have seen is obviously that aids to the branding of the company also, right? But in addition to that, what I've also seen is getting access to this talent pool, right? And this actually helps. Again, a talent pool which is across the world, across say industries and companies, actually helps. And if you start getting a cut, like for example, we got access to a database, and then we also start getting a cut of, depending on what our needs are, right? That actually is pretty much useful. Two more things happened when we did a hackathon last year, right? And this was more like, we not only got access to the talent, but we also had a finale or maybe final round where these guys were presenting to us. So actually, you could real time talk to the participants, understand their thought process and how they were approaching some things. And then obviously we had a career fair which we could leverage. So I see multiple things. One is you throw open a problem which people can look into, understand the thought process, and then get access to the talent pool. Depending on your need, you can actually take advantage of that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mandar. Neha, now I'll come to you about this entire community building partnership and events. How we've been, talking about adding various perspectives of how it's going to be useful for us. Tell us how these events actually, these event platforms are turning into community building platforms for stronger connections. Because Varun very particularly mentioned that, we're trying to build a connect here. So how are these connections, actually going to grow stronger?
So I think, a lot of, everyone has kind of covered this question in bits and pieces. But if you want me to, summarize quickly, what I would again say is data is at the, epicenter of this, right? Which allows people to connect pre-events, post-events. Second is it's allowing people to build personal brands, and through those personal brands, tap into their networks, connect with each other, connect with relevant folks, right? Explore opportunities post the events as well, right? If you see, for example, recently I was attending, a cohort of all VCs in the industry, right? So despite being a completely virtual event, we had breakout sessions, right? Where people, how, everyone engages when they're attending an in-person conference, they would just engage with each other. After every session, we would have 15-20 minutes where we were, we were able to just engage with everyone in the cohort seamlessly, right? So I feel the community building part of it, or the networking part of it, is how effectively data gets utilized, right, by event hosts, right? And that usually will happen where, people are able to kind of, I think next step in that would be, say, for example, if there are 20 marketers who are, going to be part of that particular event, if, the hosts are able to connect those marketers post-event, pre-event, that, similar industries, similar expertise, similar domain knowledge, and you all could explore synergies potentially. I think that could be the viable next step for actually fostering stronger connections. But yeah, I just feel this is, just at the inception of what all could possibly, be done in this space. And I feel personal brands or just the creator networks are, are going to continue, to be at the epicenter of it, at the heart of it. And that is where, the magic lies, to be very honest, in terms of building stronger communities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Neha. I think it was a great, insightful discussion that we just had. And this actually brings us to the end of our show also. But before we actually conclude this panel discussion, I would like to have closing remarks from each one of you, because I know a lot of exchange of thoughts have happened here, and we all have learned so much about everything that we're going to take forward. I would like to start from Varun.
Closing remarks are always the most toughest, but what comes to my mind is gratitude. Super happy about launching this partnership with TechGig. So Sanjay, Nikhil, a lot of gratitude. Obviously, Jagat. That's point number one. Point number two is, like I said, this is only the start. So the likes of Mandar, Neha, like you are the actual users, and you actually make business impact happen with using some of this technology. So I think your feedback, your usage would be very critical. So that would be point number two. And obviously point number three is obviously, as all the people who are listening in, as you kind of hear these thoughts, please connect with us on LinkedIn or wherever to give your ideas, give suggestions. If you have queries, or if you want to pursue some of these things for your own organizations or for your own companies, please feel free to reach out. So those are my three thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you, Varun. Sanjay?
So obviously super happy with this integration with LinkedIn, and of course, what Varun mentioned, that the devil lies in the details. So the execution is the most important part after this, and we need to basically move along a track where we make sure that our customers, which are our users and the corporate industry, we need to make sure that their aspirations, their requirements are met. We are obviously adding more details and more complexity to the overall event execution piece. Like we were discussing that they were first offline, then virtual, and then hybrid, and we are now trying to create a mix of the hybrid in a way that we are able to execute the offline part in multiple locations, and then we are able to beam it along with the virtual part together, so as to give it a completely different spin-off. And perhaps it would be possible then that we would be having international locations to participate in the in a super complex event, which would then be beamed to a central virtual platform, so that everybody is able to see what is happening in different locations. These are some of the new trends that we are working on, and this year we have started working on this. In Code Gladiators, you will see this. So all of this, along with the power of LinkedIn that we have in India globally, and of course the continuous feedback that we tap into the industry, thanks to Mandar and Neha for that. I'm sure this would be on the right track.
Thank you, Sanjay. Mandar?
Yes, so I think I'm definitely looking forward to this integration for sure. 1 + 1 becoming 11, right? I think that is how I see things. So looking forward and pretty excited.
Thank you so much. Neha?
I think we're on to something big here, so that's fantastic. And I think secondly, this could actually be at the center stage for new age entrepreneurship, all things new age for India and from India to the world.
Thank you so much. Nikhil?
I think I would just agree with Varun here. I think this is just the beginning. With LinkedIn also, we are working on multiple fronts in times capacity. So I think this is just the beginning in terms of how technology is helping the whole thing to formalize. And I think with these probably decentralized applications, DAOs, blockchain, and AR, VR forming up, I think it's we have to see like things would entirely be very impactful in next 10 years. I think we will see a very good picture of how the contribution in terms of individuals and as a community that is happening. So it's going to be great. I think in 10 years we'll see a very efficient picture of how technology is shaping things up.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. And I would request Varun and Sanjay to stay back to take up the live questions that our audience have started posting in. Meanwhile, Mandar, Neha, and Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us and contributing your insightful experiences via this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so looking at these questions now, I have a question from Deepika, and the question says, how does this partnership help the brands in hiring employer branding? Does being active on LinkedIn gives us direct access to TechGig community, or vis-a-vis, how does this work? So I think both of you will have to partially answer this, Sanjay and Varun.
I can go first. So as I understand the question, it's about how can it help companies hire better quality people? Is that the real question?
Yeah, hiring
right?
as well as employer branding, both.
Okay, so employer branding is a much wider topic, but hiring, of course, you're doing challenges and events and competitions to basically screen from a lot of people which is available, or community which is available. Now, how does this help you? One, obviously, the TechGig platform is amazing. So there is a community there which is already kind of involved in these competitions and so on, and you can leverage them, for getting the first spark of the flywheel going. And then once this event and this spark of the flywheel starts, I think that's where LinkedIn comes in and says, hey, okay, my peer or my somebody in my network is attending this competition or this hiring challenge. I come to know of it via notifications on LinkedIn. And so if I am also looking for a job, or if I am also interested in that, I can also attend, right? So this virality effect which LinkedIn can provide on top of the base layer of the tech competition platform layer that TechGig is providing, these two can together really help you in terms of your hiring needs, right? And of course, being on the professional platform and posting regularly, posting insightful content, etc., builds to your credibility. So that's not to say that you should do it only for hiring or only for job seeking. It's a regular behavior that you should anyways be doing if you have something insightful to talk about, of course. Yeah, and in terms of branding, of course, if you are participating and doing these kind of outreach activities, your brand is going out, right? Every impression that you are creating in the market is amazing, right? So generally speaking, we see like almost 5 to 10x, closer to 10x impressions from the number of people who actually are involved in the event physically, which is exactly what eyeballs and branding means. So there are huge branding opportunities here.
Thank you, Varun. Sanjay, would you like to add something here?
So from user perspective, of course, it's more information to them if they are on LinkedIn and they get to see about the events ahead of time instead of discovering it at a very later stage on TechGig. Then, because I am firm believer that people are spending more time on the social networks versus on a site like TechGig. So I would believe that they would have faster access to the information, and so of course opportunities will not be missed. From the employer perspective, of course, for them it's a very, very big advantage because, like Varun mentioned, that of course TechGig has its own capability of the reach in terms of the professionals, but I would say that when you have ability to reach your peer network, then it gives you wider audience, wider coverage, and as an example, a lot of times, when a corporate is hiring people in India, they have positions opened elsewhere also. So if they have talent which is interested in participating, may not be based out of India, but maybe based outside, and they still participate when the event is open, then of course it becomes possible for them to get onto the talent which is, let's say, outside, and they have positions and they are able to hire people there also. So I think for them it's definitely a ability to reach out to more people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for that. The next one is actually a request, Varun, which says that the person is Bhavna, and she says that if the request connections can be more feasible and faster and positive responses, feedback should be taken, especially in the virtual connection in the world increasing day by day. So, we kind of agree, but would you like to add your thoughts here, Varun, in terms of the response rate that is being emphasized here?
So the question is I didn't understand the question. The question is like it should be easier to make connections on LinkedIn, or the response
easier and
should
faster.
come.
Yeah, easier and faster, because maybe according to the person, the response rate comparatively lacks.
Okay. So there are two parts to this. First is, generally speaking, suppose you have seen somebody very inspirational on LinkedIn, okay, and you want to connect to them. Generally, the rule of thumb is that you will connect to somebody only if you know them, if you've met them, if you want to develop that connection, right?
Right.
And if you haven't, then you follow them. So there is something called follow, which generally happens for people who are like large influencers, celebrities, and so on and so forth. Even like people like you and me also have large follower base, and then only a small proportion of that is actually your connections, right? So this is designed intentionally in this way that if you follow somebody, you can obviously get updates when they post something or they're writing something insightful. And then once you develop the relationship and connection with them, then you can actually send them the connection request and they will accept it, because probably you've developed a rapport over a period of time. And if obviously people are, or if you're not getting that connection request answer, that means that person probably doesn't want to connect with you, right? So generally that's the way it works. This is the two levels that it works in. I hope I've answered the question.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you so much. And I think I don't have any more questions to actually take up for both of you. This actually brings us to the end of our show. Thank you so much, both of you, for actually anchoring it along with me and helping our audience understand about this whole partnership. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us and embracing our launch with your presence. We look forward to engaging with everyone out there throughout the coming months as we, as a part of this awesome collaboration that we have, just put our first step to. And heartfelt thanks to our industry partners and leaders who joined us in this event: Varun, Nikhil, Neha, Mandar, Sanjay, and Jagat. Sanjay, Varun, anything that you would like to, say to our audience before we actually wrap up?
No, for me, it was a great session because we get to hear expectations, we get to hear the understanding of the likes of Mandar and Neha, that what they really expect from this integration. While we are really excited, Mandar put it in a very, very positive way that it is 1 and 1, 11, and that really motivates and is an incentive for me fundamentally to make sure that we make it work and we make it very big from here. So I think it's very motivating thing.
Thank you, Sanjay. Varun?
Yeah, +1 to that. Nothing more. It's exactly what Sanjay said. I think he stole my words. But thank you, Sukriti, for managing the show.
Thank you so much, Varun. Now, everyone, folks, we have you had this session just for you to have an understanding of what we are actually planning for all of you. You have to stay tuned to TechGig and LinkedIn when it comes to looking forward to what all we have planned for you. So just stay tuned to TechGig and please stay safe and take care. Thank you so much once again for joining us for this session and the launch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.